Good evening and salutations, my GH fans. You know, this episode was kind of mixed. I felt like the biggest thing that's going on right now is what's going to wind up happening to Dex, right? And it's not to sit there and say that the other stories aren't as important, but it feels like it's going in slow motion compared to what's going on with Dex. So we're gonna start off with that first. So Dex is in the car and he looks like he's sweating bullets the entire time. He's like, where are we going? And Sonny's like, oh, we're going to the Pine Barrens. Now we all know, we all know when you take a drive to the Pine Barrens, um, you're gonna be coming back with less people. Okay. So while this drive is going on, and honestly tell you, if I'm not gonna lie, I kind of wish that this was pretty much just the entire episode because as they're driving, Sonny Smith is talking about loyalty and yeah, we're gonna sit there and take care of Rat today. We're gonna sit there and just, I treat people good and just crazy. And just the way he's like talking in this very double talk, like there's one point where Dex is like, oh, we dealing with a rat. It's like, oh, no, we already found the rat. We gonna take care of him. And Dex is asking these questions, but I know he has an idea like something ain't right. I'm pretty sure that he's guessing that I'm the rat, right? So they get to the pine barrels or whatever, and Sonny's like, grab him or whatever, and Dex is like, what do you think? You think I'm the rat? And I'm kind of just like, bro, why are you acting so surprised? You were as skittish as hell the entire car ride. So are you really not surprised when you are walking out and these two men are just waiting there and he turns around like, what do you think it's me? I mean, it was either that or he thought he was going to have to sit there and catch his first body. That's pretty much what it probably was. He thought he was going to be one of catching his first body. So, they take his gun, they take out his phone, and they're like, listen, we want to sit there and know, Sonny's like, I want to know who it is. He's like, I can't sit there and say who it is. Because, they talk about the bank account and everything like that. Somebody's paying you, yada, yada, yada. And I want to know a name. He's like, I can't give it to you. As soon as he said he can't get, I was like, oh, that was the wrong answer. This guy has four men or like men on you, and he's walking up to you with a gun. He's asking me for a name. He's saying I can't say. It's better if you don't know. So you want to get shot. You want to die, right? That's what you pretty much just told him. It doesn't matter what way it came out. You practically said, you know what? Yeah, I think I'm ready to die. So he tells Dex to activate his phone, and he does, and he pretty much is pretty much kill switch. He's like, yeah, you're not gonna know who it is. Yeah, okay, cool. So you pretty much just kind of signed your death warrant right there, right? You pretty much just gave your consent. It was like, yeah, you sit there and put a bullet in me at this point now. And at that point, he raises the gun up and it goes to the cliffhanger. And I gotta probably sit there and say that, granted, I didn't watch the other two yet, but I would sit there and say it's probably the best cliffhanger that they had so far. Again, I didn't watch Days and B&B yet. So while that's going on, Carly Smith there getting visits from Ava, talking about the violence, and she's getting kind of nervous. She wants to sit there and cancel some sort of play date or whatever. She's pretty much just kind of going stir crazy. And then Brick comes by. They chit chat for a little bit. Brick is always not there flirting with someone. And it gets to a point they talk about Sonny a little bit. And Carly gets a text from Josh. Smith is saying, hey, I may be a little bit late. I can't find Dex. Meanwhile, Brick was sneaky talking about how there was a rat and stuff like that, and he's taking care of it. And right then and there, Carly's like, "Oh and she's like, "Where's Sonny at now? You gotta sit there and take me to him. I gotta sit there and find him. He's about to make a terrible mistake." And I wonder how is this whole thing going to go down? Of course, this is probably the most exciting part of the episode. Well, it was the most exciting part for me. Liz and Laura Smith, they're talking about how they're going to be parents for a little bit. I didn't really care that much about that. But I did forget to sit there and say, well, we talked about it in the live stream, that Laura and Kevin are going to be Smith, they're adopting Ace because they don't know how long Nicholas is going to be in jail for, and the alternative is Cyrus or Heather. And that's pretty much just kind of a non-factor at that point. Of course, Liz and Smith, they talk about how Heather was nice to her, but was just completely ass backwards with blaming Kevin. Like, how you blame Kevin for that? It's just, I mean, I remember her sitting there trying to come up with some sort of string theory about how it's Kevin's fault, but it's just ass backwards. Let's just be honest. Um, Now Blaze and Christina hanging out, and Molly comes by, and more than once, Blaze is not there ready to sit there and leave. Um, the minute she walks in, she's like, "Oh well, I got some stuff to do," and Molly says, "Stay," and she's like, "Oh okay, I guess I'll stay." I was like, I thought you said you had something to do. You could have dipped out right then. Oh, okay. But finally, after they finish talking about it, she leaves, and I was wondering, the first time Christina lied to Molly about who was texting her. I'm like, why don't you sit there and tell us Blaze? Like, what's the difference? But Molly picked up on the vibe. Molly was like, I think y'all two would be cute or whatever, and yada yada yada. And Chrissy is just like, oh, we're just friends or whatever. And finally, she does come forward and it's like, hey, listen, we're more than friends. We're just kind of keeping the secret or whatever. It just is known. And the thing is, Molly, in a sense, kind of says something that's kind of out of pocket. Granted, she said it with love and everything like that, but it was still a little out of pocket. She was like, are you sure you want to be with somebody like her that's going to treat you like a dirty little secret? But the thing is, she's not gay. And even though, you know, things have moved, it hasn't moved that much. And considering how her family is very old school, it's a very delicate situation. It's not as easy as one may appear to sit there and be like, oh, just come out or whatever. It's not a big deal. Christine is not there saying like, not that long ago, or I think it was either Christine or Molly. They brought up the fact that she's dating TJ, whatever, and back then it wasn't really acceptable, and so. But I don't know how much you could. I don't want to get all like political, or whatever, but like I don't know how much you could sit there and really compare those two. I mean, granted, even if I was to sit there and date a white woman, most people will be okay. Oh, gonna be some of those people that's gonna be like, oh my god, this is so wrong, da 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 da. But maybe it's just me. But I don't think interracial relationships is as that much of a triggering as much as an LGBT relationship for some people. At the end of the day, I'm just like love is love. I don't care who you're with. That's your business or whatever. But I feel like as far as the scale is, that's why when they bring up the interracial relationship thing or whatever, just to kind of give her a reference point. I don't know if they're on the same level exactly. Now, the conversation with Gregory and Chase and Finn telling Violet about Gregory's condition was kind of long overdue, and in some ways, I felt like it should have probably been done a little bit sooner. But you know how it is in soap worlds, as far as time is considered. But they do sit there and tell her that, and for the most part, she handles it pretty well. Just sit there and say it's gonna take a minute for everything to kind of sink in. Um, which honestly, to tell you the truth, will I feel like she probably would have handled it better than most people. Hell, would have handled it better than me at that age. Um, yeah, that was about it in that whole scenario. Oh, another thing that I didn't understand, and I made a specific point to sit there and write this. There's a point where Molly, is explaining to Christine that, hey, listen, her family doesn't know that she's gay, or whatever. So I need you to kind of keep this between me and you. And she's like, yeah, that's fine, but I got to sit there and tell TJ. And I'm just like, why? Like, I understand secrets and things of that nature, but I mean, what do you think that TJ's going to sit there and flip? I feel like in a situation like that, he doesn't need to know yet. Yeah, eventually sit there and tell him, but he doesn't need to know it right then and there. Like if I'm married to somebody and my wife finds out that somebody is gay, whatever, they don't need to sit there and tell me that. I'm not going to sit there and flip out or lose my issue, whatever. Yes, I do understand transparency, but I don't think it's one of those things where it's like, well, you didn't tell me. And that means there's a problem in our relationship. Like, not everything is black and white. I don't really understand why she felt the need to sit there and say, well, I got to tell TJ. You really don't need to tell TJ. Yeah, okay, fine. Chrissy might have dropped the ball as far as telling Blaze about the pregnancy. Okay, but that doesn't have anything to do with her sexuality. That's the part that's just so out of pocket for me, where it's just like, this is unnecessary at best. It really is. Um, so I don't get that. But you let me know in the comment section about that whole thing. Now, I'll sit there and leave a community tab in the community tab or whatever. But it's already 7 o'clock, and I'm already with two soap operas. So I still got two more soap operas to go. And I'm like, you know what? It just makes more sense to do a live stream on Saturday, since I'm actually off. Um, Instead of trying to do one tonight, it's just like the clock is running a little bit kind of later, and I wouldn't even mind doing that, but I have to sit there and work tomorrow super early in the morning. So rather than start my live stream late, try to finish soon, or feel like I'm rushing and stuff like that, I know Saturday I have more time and I have more energy to sit there and do a live stream. So I just want to do a live stream twice a day, one for members and one for non-members. Will post the time, central and stuff like that in my community tab. Um, and I'm gonna do a live stream. And I was like, you know what? It's already getting late. Like I knew the minute I started watching it at 5 o'clock, it was like, yeah, this is. But I was like, and again, I always want to sit there and put 100% in everything that I do. So it's just a lot easier for me to do it on Saturday, knowing that I'm going to sit there and be good energy wise and not just trying to show up at the last minute than trying to do it tonight. Um, But yeah, I'm still gonna sit there and do one on Saturday. I'm sit there and try to do one on Saturday, and I'll let people know, especially on Friday. But most likely, it will be Saturday that I'll be doing a live stream. Yeah, a lot to talk about. Anyway, I feel like that's pretty much about it. Nothing else really happened in this episode that was like super great. Honestly, to tell you the truth, the Valentine's episode seemed like it's gonna be more interesting than today's episode. And usually Valentine's holiday episodes, I'm kind of like, no. Especially Valentine's Day episodes, it's like they tend to sometimes skew away from the actual stories to sit there and do their own little romance thing. But tomorrow's previews do look pretty good. So I have high hopes, and hopefully GH will not disappoint me. But we'll just wait and see. Anyway, with that being said, I'm gonna go. I'll see you in the next video. So weird. I used to always sit there and like my outro to. Well, you know my outro is. Um. But anyway, yes, I will sit there and see you in the next video, and I will see you in the next live stream, which is not tonight, unfortunately, but I will see you in the next one.